Hey, how you doing? Today, I thought I would jump on the Tenerife bandwagon, right? Let's talk about Tenerife like every other person on the internet, right? Every other person, like from psychics to housewife ever, everyone's talking about Tenerife and Jay Slayer, right? And I thought I would come on and tell you about my experience in Tenerife. One experience I had in Tenerife, it was shitty, pretty shitty. I doubt it was with Jay Slater because everyone's doing it, and I've got no idea what I'm talking. Like I went from like Occam's razor. He he was wrecked, walked out of the desert, got lost, and that's what happened. But then the more you watch videos and read stuff, and you're persuaded, and there are people acting strangely, but strangely does not mean complicit, and strangely does not mean criminal, right? But some of the things are happening are very unusual. But again, unusual doesn't really mean anything apart from unusual, right? Like like I said, start with. I still think the most likely scenario is you got lost in the desert, got lost in the hills. That's what happened. But I would not be surprised by any of the other theories that come up because they all seem kind of plausible, right? They all seem kind of plausible, so I've got no idea one way or another. Now, I wouldn't be surprised at anything. Anything. It's never going to surprise me. I try not to think about it too much because, you just confuse yourself. But I was about my experience in Tenerife. Two things. First of all, I'll probably tell this story in a light-hearted kind of way because it is a funny story, right? It's a funny situation because it happened to me. And it's just why I tell things anyway. I did take things too seriously, right? And it ended up okay. So it's okay. It could have turned out a lot worse. But all's well that ends well, and it's just a funny story later in life. Number two, I've been to Tenerife several times since this with the wife and kids, and it's perfectly fine. It's good fun. It's sun beds in all-inclusive wristbands. Brilliant, good clean fun. And if you stick to the touristy kind of resort places, nothing's going to happen to you at all, right? Even Veronica's really is not much. It's about as safe as any UK high street on a Saturday night, right? It really is. Just watch what you're doing, mind your business. But that's happened to me. Must have been. I was thinking about 25 years ago, right? With my ex-girlfriend, my girlfriend at the time, and would be at a bar along Veronica Strip. We stayed in a hotel a good bit away, a couple of miles away. And we'd be at a bar in the Veronica Strip. And I got to know this guy. He was a DJ at this bar, club thing, and he was like nice guy. Like he offered to get me a job and stuff like that to stay there. And he was spot on the guy. And this one day, the football was on. It's funny. The football was on, and England was playing some team, and I got my face painted. The bar stop brought was like face paint, so I got my face painted with a Scotland flag. And I was there early getting drunk with a girlfriend, and a bunch of England fans came in. Right? A bunch of England fans in Tenerife. I'm the lone Scotsman sitting at the front. And let's say it was Czechoslovakia or something like that, right? And Czechoslovakia scored. And I stood up and went, yes! And immediately I looked behind me, and they're like, and I just sat down, right? And thankfully, England won like 5-1 or something like that, right? So they just took a piss at me for the next while, and it was all good, clean fun. It was our fun. I got pissed. We went back to the hotel. My girlfriend had a headache. This was afternoon, by the way. My girlfriend had a headache, and she didn't want to go back out. And me, being the kind considerate boyfriend I was, I was like fuck off, I'm on holiday, I'm going it. Right, so I started getting back up, the strip, and he had a couple of beers with, I can't remember his name, good mate, can't remember his name. I'll go up the strip, had a couple of beers with him, right? And I did. You know, I had a couple of beers, and you know, it was heading back home. And you know, when you go to Spanish places, you see a lot of like African men selling sunglasses and watches and you know, other substances, right? And you see African women selling themselves, right? And it's perfectly fine when you're with your girlfriend. It's perfectly fine. Nobody hassles you on hand. Just, you know, the guys ask if you want sunglasses, you want hash, you want whatever. No, mate, I'm cool, and that's okay. So I'm walking back for Veronica's this one night, and this African lady, though I'm like 6'3", right? And in my memory, she's as tall as me. She is big. And I was a lot thinner than I am now. And she goes, you want to sucky, come on. And I'm like, no thank you. And I try to walk past her, right? She grabs my wrist. And she goes, come on, up here, sucky fucky, right? And she's pulling me towards this alleyway, right? And when I say she's pulling me, she's walking towards this alleyway. I've got my heels digging at the ground, and she is dragging me up this alleyway, right? And I'm thinking, like, instincts kick in, right? I'm thinking, like, mate, I'm gonna go up here, and there's gonna be like 2 or 3 men, and I'm gonna get fucking mugged, right? Because, you know, nobody wants to fuck me up much, right? Like, she was desperate to get me up this alleyway, right? She was desperate. She's like dragging me, and I'm like a little bitch being dragged with my heels. She's just walking, dragging me behind her up this alleyway, and I'm like fucking, I'm like, you know, like karate chops on the arm and stuff. As pathetic as that sounds, right? I was young, and I'm getting a karate chops in the arm, and nothing, and I'm panicking, and she's like, eventually, I think I was screaming help, right? Because, like I say, I was either getting mugged when up there, or even worse, she was going to do what she said. Right? I don't know which one was being worse. I really don't. But I was not going to battle. So I was screaming for help, and she let me go. Eventually, I went back home, you know. And it's a funny story, almost getting assaulted by a prostitute. Why did I say African silently? And I said brass, prosy. I almost get assaulted. You know, like I say, I'm smiling, and it's a funny story, and all the rest of it, but I could have turned out much, much differently, right? I could have turned out much, much differently, and I think in these places, as humans, especially women, but as men as well, you get instincts, right? There's instincts that keep you alive. And my instinct was telling me, do not go up here with her. Do not, because, like, you know, she was very, very desperate to get me off that alleyway. Like, very desperate. I was like prey. I was a victim to her. And she was, yeah. Like I say, it's not till years later I actually thought about what could have happened, right? It was just like a prostitute tried to grab me. Like, no. I think, thinking back, I imagine there was a more sinister aspect of what was going to happen, right? But thankfully it didn't. But so everyone, if you're in Tenerife, like, you know, stay in groups, stay with your friends. Jay went away with people he did not know, and you know, that would be my advice to anyone. If you're going to Tenerife with a bunch of mates, stay with your mates. You'll be safe. Stay with your mates. Do the tourist stuff. Go to the clubs. Go to the well-defined places, well-lit streets. Don't talk to strangers, and stay away from like fucking 7-foot African prostitutes.